One and all, welcome back to Illustrated by DeForrest, and if this is your first time here, welcome to what I'm sure will be the best new year of your whole life. Just curious, is this when you decide to get it straight, that you're finally going to learn how to draw, and you just want to know how to get started? Well, I'm here for you, alright? And we're going to keep it extra simple because I'm going to tell you that you only need 3 main materials to get started. And that's it. Everything else is pointless at this point. My name is DeForrest, and I will be your host. Today's time-lapse features my work Streak Verses, with my character Streak Pale Dark, from my book series Streak Pale Black. Yes, I know, another derivative character name. Also no, I'm not changing it. My series takes place in a dystopian future where a group that calls itself government have taken over, they've destroyed everything, they have won, and they just need one extremely powerful super weapon in order to maintain their control. But an urban samurai, whose name's Streak Pale Black, also known as the Fire of Metal Stereo, he's trying to get to it first in order to turn the tide to his favor. You can learn more about the next action epic at streakpaleblack.com. So I'm going to assume you grabbed your gift card and went straight to your favorite arts and crafts store on Boxing Day. You got that How to Draw manga book that was made in Tennessee and that giant drawing pad that was extra expensive. I bet you thought, yeah, since I've paid so much for it, that's definitely going to make me use it. Yeah, that sounds like something I said back in 2008, and that tone tan sketchbook is still blank on my bookshelf. Let me say a few things that new artists do completely wrong as far as getting their art materials. Number 1, getting expert level materials. You're not an expert, so what are you doing getting the expert stuff? 25 years in and I don't even buy that. I don't need it because I've spent so much time honing my technique with very little, even still using the beginner stuff to begin my main artworks. I'll show you a prime example I rediscovered in a little bit. Point is, save those $signs for when you've learned all the little nuances of why those tools are made that way, so you know exactly why your drawing demands imported Peruvian charcoal. Until then, just find lead without Cali's Prop 65. Number 2, using everyday materials, which is just as bad because you're supposed to be done with school or work for the day, and you're getting away from looking at copy paper. First off, that paper yellows and disintegrates over time, but moreover, that's the canvas of the soulless oppressor right there. Those wide rule blue lines all over it, or that manager whining about it not being correlated. This is art time, so keep that separate from your art stuff. You'll want to look over that older work someday, cringe or not. Number 3, getting ranged materials without knowing ranges. Did you buy every shade of red out there or all the levels of pencil brightness thinking, well, that's what the serious artists use? Bet you also got one of those all-in-one boxes that have pencils, markers, pastels, all sorts of goodies as a stocking stuffer. Those things are fun and I've gotten a few over the years, but you want to save that for those unique family crafts and maybe take out the 1 or 2 useful things that'll actually help. Having so many tools means a lot of resources, but it's very easily to get overwhelmed. Let's learn what one type of pencil can do before moving on to anything else. And you'll be surprised how much you really don't need after all. Even with digital programs, I usually stick to the default brushes unless I really need to create a brush that's that unique. In that regard, number 4, getting anything with color or that's not monochrome. When I first decided to improve my drawing, I was afraid of going near color for a bit since I had so much struggle just trying to get outlines and anatomy down. Then even trying to do some basic shading with my regular number 2 pencils. That was a mistake I'll tell you how to overcome later. Some of you might be ready to dive headfirst using every color you can get your hands on and be like, whatever with the results, I'll fake it till I make it. How about we recognize the 3 dimensions of color, which are hue, saturation, and brightness, and just start with one of them. Want to know about each? Click the link right there for more. I recommend you just focus on the brightness factor for now, and then we can incorporate choices of red, yellow, and blue and how rich they are down the line. Finally, number 5, your drawing space is too big. We've all done it. You're guilty of it. Admit it, you can't hide the evidence. Like, literally, it's way too big. You got your grand idea of making libraries of filled sketchbooks and having walls of giant frame drawings, shelves lousy with art stuff like it's the best idea. My response? Nah, son. Before making the shift to digital, maybe 90% of all the physical paper I bought was wasted, and not just because I didn't use it, but moreover because it's unnecessary and overwhelming. Anyway, let's talk more about what you're guilty of. That's fun for me. I'm sure you got something 8.5 by 11, thinking that was a basic conservative size for starters, but then you probably froze at first wondering where to start on the paper so you would ironically have space for everything. Then you got frustrated when proportions across the sheet got thrown off, you had to erase entire sections because you learned from a mistake halfway through and now you gotta fix that, which left huge smudges that you're not sure how to fix. Then you rip out the sheet and try again. Then on your next try, well, does your next try even come because you're back to, oh man, where do I start? Oh man, do I have to fill out this whole sheet again? How about I fix that for you by talking about the first of the 3 things you actually need for your starter kit. A basic drawing pad no bigger than 3.5 by 5.5 inches. Yep, that's small. Do you see the overall theme of all the mistakes I listed yet? When you have it all, you feel obligated to use it all. giant art kits that end up as giant mixed media paintings you may or may not be proud of, or once you open it you say screw the whole thing and your little brother gets a new toy. You think your ninja character needs all the muscle detail you can add to justify having a large drawing pad, but you're struggling just to draw an eye right. If only there was a tutorial for that. For most beginners, your mind is on the materials when it should be on the skills. Having too much room to roam is a huge distraction. So let's talk about the small drawing pad. I'm this far in the art game and I still start digital masterpieces using sticky notes, envelopes from bills I don't want to pay, and yes, even the 3.5-inch drawing pad. I constantly talk about your artwork starting as 1-inch tall stick figures in the corner, and this is all about making the best step one you can have. You can reach to your pocket whenever inspiration strikes, and make this your testing ground for new ideas. While you're studying what makes a good composition, yes, you should do that, you can draw a grid on a single sheet, make variations of what you want your art to look like, and pick the best to move on to the next stage. Do you need practice on certain details? I taught my daughter 3 different levels of hair braids on one sheet, and made it an easy experience without needing to get those giant lines on giant paper right. Also, how much detail does your sketch really need? Do you think you'd be satisfied if you're drawing on just 3x5? Like, serious question. I want you to have as many small victories as you can while you complete your ideas. If skill building is tough, work on building confidence first. As you do, you'll pick up the skills by default the more you work. When you get to the point where you do need the extra detail, just do it again on a larger sheet or scan it into digital art. Lastly, less physical work overall. I think starting out it's a fair trade for those details to instead have lots of completed work within your first year. In that regard, new year, new you, new pencil. The mechanical variety. Yeah, it sounds simple enough, but I'm sure you've been through the grade school struggle of sharpening and then resharpening, then trying your best to not press down too hard on the pencil while you write or draw. Then after cruising the art store, you find out there are different types of lead. If me telling you here is how you just found that out, then don't worry, I still got you. Those leads have different levels when you buy professional artist pencils, and there could be about 20 of them in one pack, ranging from lightness to darkness. You see the letters H, B, and F on them. What does the H mean? That means it's a hard pencil, and the harder the pencil lead, the lighter it's going to be. The next darkest ones are the HB leads and F pencils. You've dealt with HB all your life. Go pick up a random wooden pencil. When you find your trusty number 2, you'll most likely see HB on that as well. It's the basic pencil, but what does the B on that really mean though? B stands for blackness, which means it's going to be the darkest pencils you'll find. For both H and B, the higher the number, the more of that quality you'll get. So 9B will be the darkest and softest lead, and 9H will be the lightest. I mentioned the letter F earlier as well. That means fine point, meaning it's a hard pencil that'll keep its sharp point. How do you use all this knowledge as a newcomer? That's the neat part. You don't. I'm going to tell you to sketch with 4H and nothing else. Use 3H or lower if extra confident, but I find 4H to be the right balance between being able to see your strokes, especially for scans, and to very easily erase them. I have more physical pencils with 4H lead in them than any other, and this is the pencil you want to carry around with you. If you're ready for shading, you can start adding in those different pencils, but even then, keep that to a max of 3 or 4 shades and learn with some blending tools. Now you need to get your eraser game up, and let's mechanize that while we're at it. Here's an artificial tech advancement to be proud of, and I'm not talking about those fat wide erasers or the slightly thinner one that clicks up and down. I'm talking about these sharp beauties that get into exactly what you need while leaving everything else alone. You get your preciseness by erasing your thick lines on each side, and you're left with what you actually need. Think about it. If you drew a line a centimeter thick, the line you actually want is technically there. You just need to erase everything else around it. But that regular pink eraser is too inaccurate and so bulky, you can't even really see around it as you erase. This thin mechanical eraser completes your kit, and that's all you really need to begin your art journey without breaking the bank. But if you want to add a cool accessory, how about a knife? You know, because sometimes you'll need some really accurate and close erasing, so you can cut the eraser tip down to a fine point or a sharp wedge. Thank you for joining me on episode lucky number 13 of this series, and I hope you'll join me on the 3rd of each month for new episodes. Please subscribe and check out past episodes, and you can visit the shop at lifeover3.com for some digital worksheets that you can easily use with your new starter kit. Once again, make this the best year of your life through struggle and triumph. Move the media. Peace.